Alright, so right here is a $300 gaming PC that I just put together, and it's capable of playing pretty much everything. Well, everything in reason. For 1080p high refresh rate gaming, this PC is completely capable of delivering enough performance. And I mean, $300 is a very small budget for a gaming build. It doesn't really give us a lot of room to work with. But I think you guys will be quite surprised with the results, so let me show you how I built it. Okay, let's start with the CPU. Here we got the Ryzen 5 3600, a 6-core and 12-thread CPU, which you can easily find for around $50 on AliExpress. This CPU is still a solid contender when it comes to performance, and for the price, it's hard to beat. It is, however, a 6-year-old CPU, which is getting up there in age, but I think a lot of you would be surprised with the results it can produce. To pair with this chip, I have the Asus Prime B450M ACSM, but really any B450 motherboard would work here. I would recommend trying to find the cheapest board possible, and right now there is an ASRock B450M Pro 4 on AliExpress for $60, which is by far the best when it comes to price. Installing the CPU is as easy as pulling up the retention lever, lining the CPU up with the slot, slowly placing it in, then pulling down the lever. Next, we are going to install the RAM, where I went with the Teamforce Vulcan Z 16GB kit running at 3200 MHz speeds. 16GB I would say is now the bare minimum when it comes to gaming machines, and this kit for $30 will work well. I've used these sticks a couple times before and have had no issues whatsoever. We are going to use the second and fourth slot on the motherboard and simply going to line up the stick and press down with even pressure until you hear a click. And it will be the exact same process for the other stick. Now we are going to install our CPU cooler, and usually this is included with the CPU if you bought it from Amazon or Newegg, but if you are buying it from AliExpress, you will have to buy it separately. You can get this AMD Wraith Stealth cooler for $12 on Amazon, which will work just fine with the 3600. All we have to do is line up the cooler with the 4 holes and making sure that we screw it in evenly on all sides to make sure we are getting even pressure. Then we can plug in the wire into the CPU fan header on the motherboard. The last thing to install on the motherboard is the SSD, where I went with the Patriot P310. The one I have here is the 240GB variant, but the one I have linked in the description below is the 480GB version, which is the better choice when it comes for this build. Installation will be the exact same, however, we just have to line it up with the M.2 slot and use the included screw that comes with your motherboard to lock it into place. With that, everything we needed to install on our motherboard is now complete, and we can move on to the case, where I went with the Cooler Master Q300L, which goes for $37. This is one of the cheapest cases that is available right now, and although it's not the most feature-rich case, it will work just fine with our components. First thing we are going to do is install the IO shield for our motherboard. Then we are going to place the motherboard in the case, lining it up with the standoffs. Once in, we can begin screwing it down with the included screws that come with the case. Now we are going to install the power supply, where I chose the MSI Mag A550BN. This is a solid budget power supply, which will give us enough wattage to power the parts in this build, and will even be alright for a few future upgrades down the road. This isn't the highest rated unit by far, but will be the best option for the price range at $50. To install this into our case, we need to actually screw it onto this mount, which I've always found weird about this model, but that's just how it is. And once mounted onto it, we can simply screw it back into place. We can now plug in the cables into the motherboard, starting with the CPU 8-pin, then the 24-pin motherboard connector, followed by the rest of the front panel connectors and USB plugs. With that now ready to go, we can finally get to the most important part of the gaming PC, the GPU. Here we went with the RX 580, which is an 8GB GPU that goes for around $50 on the used market. I just made a video on this card, so if you want to check it out, I'll leave it in the description below. But this is pretty much the best part we can get for the price range, and I think a lot of you will be surprised by the performance. So we're going to line up the card with the PCIe slot on the motherboard and press it into place, and lock the card in with a pair of screws. Then we are going to take the PCIe power wire coming from our power supply and plug it into the 8-pin connector on our GPU. With that, our build is now pretty much complete, but one recommendation I would have is to add an exhaust fan. The one I have here is the Be Quiet Pure Wings 3, which you can find for about $10 on Amazon. This will allow for slightly better airflow, which is always good for any kind of system. All we are going to do is screw it into place onto the back here and plug in the wire to the system fan header on the motherboard. And now with that installed, this $300 gaming PC is fully complete. actually really impressed with this build. Even though we are using older parts, we can still purchase a higher end AM4 CPU and a more powerful graphics card down the road. Especially with the new 5000 series from Nvidia coming out this year, prices for older cards will continue to drop. But even with the parts we have now, performance is still really solid. In total, this build came out to $322 without the exhaust fan, which I think is solid for what we got. We can see here that in esports titles, we are getting enough FPS for high refresh rate gaming, and the only game that is below is Warzone, which is already a harder game to run in comparison. Titles like Fortnite, Overwatch 2, and CSGO are all playable at around 160 FPS, where with some tweaked settings, you can get even more performance. But these are the types of games that you can expect to run extremely well on this build. When it comes to harder to run games like Marvel Rivals and Starfield, I did have to use FSR to get more playable performance. And while Starfield actually ran alright at around 69 FPS, we can't really say the same about Marvel Rivals at 53. But for a $300 gaming PC, I still think this is really impressive. When it comes to temperatures, it usually sat around the high 70s and mid to low 80s, depending on what game was being played, which is perfectly fine, especially with the cooling situation we have. If you did want to improve this, you could also get a better CPU cooler. Something like the Peerless Assassin from Thermalright would be way more than this chip would ever need. Another purchase you can make is a couple more case fans, as that will allow for better airflow, which will result in better temperatures all around. And if you do have a bit of a higher budget, there are 3 recommendations I have. One is to purchase a B550 motherboard over the B450, and the reason I say that is because you're going to be getting PCIe 4.0 support. Although any GPU that is on PCIe 4.0 will work perfectly fine with the B450, you will be losing a little bit of performance. So if you're wanting to upgrade your GPU, this may be a better option. The second recommendation is to simply purchase a better GPU right from the start. Something like the RTX 2060 is a solid choice, where you'll be getting better performance right out of the gate, but you will have less VRAM in total when compared to the RX 580. The better option I would say is the RX 5700 XT, which has 8GB of VRAM and has solid performance even in some 1440p titles depending on the specific game. It would still pair well with the 3600, so if you're looking for even more performance, this may be a solid option. The last recommendation is to use the secondhand market. The reason why I always say this is because you're most likely going to be able to save more money with this route. If you're not comfortable purchasing something like a used SSD or power supply, I completely understand your concern. But parts like memory, for example, you may be able to find it for even less than what it is online. Even things like the case, fans, GPU, and CPU are areas where you can save. I do understand that there is an inherent risk when buying something used. The product could be just defective or simply just not work at all. But if you're okay with taking the risk, this is something that I would highly recommend, especially on a tight budget like this one. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.